Hi, so today I want to show you I built a site with React and GitHub pages, and it's a static site. I was learning React and learned to build a site with it. So this is quite a simple site. I was doing a portfolio, so I wanted it to be like a blog site. So I used Chatgpt to build it, but the tech stack is basically using just React and GitHub pages. And I'll show you later on what did I involve in the editor to build this site. It's actually quite simple, but you have to ask the right question to ChatGPT to make it happen. I added a README here in my GitHub for this project, and what I learned from here is to have two branches for my project, and when I set them up, all I have to do later is to run on these two commands to build the folders and deploy them, and it will be saved in the GitHub pages, which is the function we use here. And then you create a link that I click in to see the site, and I just set up like a few simple ones, my about page with like animations. It's like a motion function you can use in React, and I asked Chat to help me to create these pages, and then it just gave me like things that I can customize on later on, which I also learned a bit of using components to make the pages templates so that I won't have to repeat many of the codes. And these are just the contact page, but mainly I'm happy that I was able to build it with a simple knowledge I know on HTML and CSS, because Chat helped me to build it, and I asked it to help me generate like color palette, where in this project I chose to have a nature kind of theme, so it's in this brown woods color, and yeah, it gave me what I wanted, and I was able to even view it in I think different color themes for the dark and the light mode, so it's quite nice. But I wanted it to be simple, so for now I haven't thought about adding pictures in it. Maybe we can start one in the issues for GitHub, and add like pictures in here for the project. And here is just links where people can visit to the project I made. on GitHub, and then yeah, you link it to the place, but it only links like static pages instead of like complicated ones, so not for like the project you made. And if it's not static, you want to save it here, then it's not suitable for that. But it can let you to write on stuff here. For now, I write it in my codes, as you can see here. I started with pages. Yep. So yeah, I think Chat asked me to put this in a JS file, and then I just add like postings in here after I have all this set up, and I can insert the links and everything I want about the post to make it look like a blog post. So here is how I simply write in the editor, and it will show the projects with their details. So it started off with pages, where I have these pages saved, built up, and then it will go on to have some components like this, where I won't have to rewrite like footer for every page of mine, including like navbar. I'm also using Tailwind in here, so all of the decorations, they are all aligned with the Tailwind, I think. With the components, that means I won't have to rewrite all of the certain functions in my pages, so it shortened a lot on my page part, where I just have content in here. But then later on, it will still load whatever is from the components. Like for this one is like the motion I add for the ball. So yeah, it was kind of a cool project if you would like to build one, like a simple one, to just have words and maybe pictures. But this one, I'm doing a public page, so in GitHub it will show like a public page to access this one, and everybody has access to the code. So if it's anything that requires like privacy, and you have the GitHub page as a private repository, then it won't work. So if you make it as a public one, then you can have a static site and just anything that you would like to display publicly as a portfolio site, then you can include in here, and maybe add some of the pictures. And another thing I want to talk about is that the pages I used in this project, because it was quite complicated before I get to know about it. But the main thing is you start off with a main branch, right? So you have a main branch that you use to build your project, and then before you want to deploy it, you will set up stuff, and it will teach you on chat for how to set up these GitHub pages, so that when you deploy on your main, it will automatically create one more branch called GH pages. And then that is how you build it onto your GitHub. And eventually you'll see build and deployment here on that repository. And when it's updated, you actually have a link to access through here with this site, and then you click on it and it will open up the site you just built and deployed with the latest stuff you have, so that later on when you're back with your code part to change anything, you run on your git commands and push it to the main. So you also have to learn a bit of the git commands. The git commands will help you to update it onto your GitHub for every code changes you made. And then once you have it, you only have to run on the npm run build and npm run deploy to make sure your changes are updated to the GitHub link. And that's how I built this site. Yeah. I also learned to use fonts I want to. I search it on Google Fonts and then put it in my project. This is another project I made with JavaScript to just draw anything you want, and then you can save it. Yeah, you can save it as a logo, which will be exported as a PNG. And yeah, it's made with chat too, so you can make something with Chatgpt or anything like Claude if you want. And that's the video for today. Yeah, this is the node modules, which when you have React downloaded and then you run on npm run build, then it will just constantly update from this build folder to have the things and the folder you have updated be here, and then you can run on deploy to deploy to that branch. Yeah, so this is the logo I made for the site with this tool I made, so you can make like colors. Yeah, so this is the question I would use to start off the project, which the stack I'm using is just React and GH pages to build the blog site I have, without having to know a lot about coding, and then chat will help you to think about the flow, and you have to follow and learn a bit of the commands, then you can easily build this. And another question I would ask on on Chatgpt is maybe you have to learn about how to start a GitHub repository and a bit of the commands where we will use to update changes to it. Then it will give you flows to learn on how to use GitHub. Yeah. So this is the process where I was learning Git 2 on how to initialize it and have it downloaded on my computer. Then later on, these are the few commands I use to where I add a folder where I change something, then I will use this to stage the change, as you can see. Then I will put a message here with what I committed on, and then push the latest file to that repository. So these are the 3 of the commands where I constantly am using. Yeah. And here are the other question where we said about using React. Then it will teach you to create that app, and then you can install this as dependencies or package in your editor. The editor that I'm using is Visual Studio. Here are the few things later on I have to add in my folder for that project to be able to deploy all my changes and create this branch automatically in my folder. So by following this, you should be able to make the site and as something more customized one if you would like to.